recording! Okay, we're starting in a second. I'm just like picking up a second time timer real quick. Don't mind me. It's a thing I need to do. What color? I have, okay, there's dreamsicle. I have a pink one. Do I want green or do I want Lake Day blue? Wait, hold on. Let me stare at this for a second to see how true. They're a little bit darker than they are representing here. I've noticed that. So I think definitely the green. Fern green. Very cute. Okay, that should be it. Okay. Or do I want dream? No, I want fern green. Wait, do I? Wait. Don't mind me. I'm just freaking out. You see? I'm just having a moment. I'm having a day. I'm having a time. Okay. Pale shale? What's shale mean? Actually, let me look on their website too. Yeah, no, see, Lake Day blue isn't what I want. I think I want fern green. Yeah. Or do I want orange? No. Wait, no. Oh, help me pick. Okay, hold on. Which of these is cuter? Because I want to be able to do... Oh my god, I keep forgetting this. Ah! Hold on. What have I done now? What have I done? Okay, there we go. So I keep forgetting that, so this has an hour on it, right? And I really like it, but I want a second one on my desk to do a 2-hour window so I don't have to reset it at all. So I have the pink one and it's kind of like darker. Well, actually you can't tell at all. The color on this is not. It's more muted and darker. It's a deeper color than that by a smidge. So I'm assuming that the lighting on these photo shoots was pretty much the same. So I kind of think I want, like, what would complement it? Either this one or this one. Here they all are together. If I think about that, I don't know, actually. I don't know which one I want. Maybe I want the fern green. I don't know. That's the I have this one. So maybe the fern green. I wish there was a color between these two. That's what I would really want. Let me look at other things. That's the one I have. Hello. Blue my compliment. Yeah! CCC. I agree. I think let's go with the green then. I agree with you. Because I want a little bit of a contrast, you know? Like there's that guy. And then we think about the pink. But then this, yeah. Yes, I agree. So I'm going to get the green. Okay. Thank you very much. Okay, welcome to Autism Peer Support. I have autism and I support in a peer way. If you would like to do some tracking, we have two options. This is the easy click tracker to get you started. If the other one feels like, oh boy, that's a lot. All you do is do boop, 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 boop. And why don't we go ahead and use that one for my tracking for a second to show it. So I haven't gotten dressed nor dressy. I have eaten. I haven't done that. I have no bathroom support needs. So my toilet support needs get stuff clear. I brushed my teeth. I took my meds. I slept pretty good. And let's see here. I'm here. So this is my belonging because I get to hang out with peers who have the overlap with my brain. That's good. I did this yesterday. I might make a note of that. I'm about to do some shopping for my time timer. And I did do food prep for my food. Now, the more elaborate one that I started, somebody made that was when I was over on Twitch. I don't know if they'll ever come over here, but that's okay. Here's the more elaborate one. And I can give you the copy of this one. That's fresh and open for you to use. You just have to copy and save it over to your drive in a new file. That's all. What have I done? Oh, good God. Holy Lord. Okay, hold on. Oh my God. That's supposed to be like that. And then this is a problem. Okay, there we go. Voila! I know what I'm doing, kind of. Okay, so we're on a Wednesday. So I've done this, and then you just kind of do Control C, Control V stuff. Control C, Control V. I did do that yesterday. And this is basically what we do. Why do we do this? So we're keeping track of, from occupational therapy, that's where I took the death shaft parts. The bombs was added. Neighborhood Buds helped me with that and cultivated a list of like kind of self-actualization style goals that get a little bit more complex. So it goes up in complexity of the skills that we need for independent living. Yes. Great. Yes, that is what we're doing. Okay, so, oh look, it's my dog. See that fluffy thing? That's a doggo. Right here. Look at his little face. Aw. Cute. Okay, so yeah. If you would like a copy of either one, let me dump that in the chat. Grab this one. Now this one is set for the time zone in the UK, so it may be off for the day highlighted. I'm trying to get that resolved, but not very hard. I'm trying, but it's not, I don't have non-declarative memory to use, so it hasn't happened yet for that reason. But eventually that will get fixed. Let me go to this thing. I'm gonna take this over here. Hello, Shade. Anyways, paste. So here's this tracker. This is the easy click, and this one's mine. So that one's all filled out to the nth degree. The one I need to give you is, you know what? Let me just go to sheets. This one. This is the one I can give to you. And there's a DSB task matrix if you want to mess with that idea. Don't worry about it for now, because I've also sort of like taken a break from that idea. Let me go ahead and update this. Well, let me show you what you're going to do. So you're going to go over here. You just click on this to update it. So like, should be this week. I'll just go ahead and update this. So that's easier to fix. I usually fix it before I copy and paste it over, and then you'll just hold on, let me go, actually let me do this for you. 30 21 April, whoops, yeah, 1st and April 2nd. Okay. So what you'll do is whenever you need to add on, you just grab from column C and you grab over to the end, and then you go over to this one, which is your main guy. In fact, for the sake of demonstration, copy. So what you would typically do is you would add column right, and then you would do your paste here, but we're gonna Control Z that. Since I want to update this, we'll just go like this and paste. Bam, and now that's accurate. So, but you would keep extending it so you can track forever. Let's share this. Let's see. Here's the link. I think you can copy and paste as a viewer, I think. I'm almost positive you can. That way you don't mess up the actual document, but you can copy it over to yours. I think. If you have any problems, let me know. Anyway. That is that! Ta-da! Okay, and then let me go over to mine and do my tracking on this guy. Where were we? Shopping. Oh, let me finish that shopping task that I have. Timer. We're getting the green. We're getting the green. Cleaning paste? What? Weird. What does timer and visual timer give me? Eh? That's weird. Wait, what is that set? Huh? Whoa, no, I don't want a gift card. How did I get there? Don't make me buy more things. I just want to know what is that about? Oh, it gives you a big one too. Weird. Okay. Very strange. Okay, so I have my fern green. Timer. I don't know what this cleaning paste is. Very strange. Odd. Okay. Wonderful. Okay. Making sure there's nothing else I need. Don't think so. Don't think so. No. Fairy lights. I don't think why would I need fairy lights? Ooh, that shelf is pretty cute though. Damn you. It's like a corner shelf and it's really cute. But it's like a pegboard thing. Oh, I see. They're like pegboard squares and you can put them anywhere. Fascinating. It's really cute though. Interesting. Okay, I guess I don't need that. But it is really cute. I don't actually have corners like that in my room, to be honest. Like I have windows and doors everywhere. So I don't have like a corner to any of my rooms. There's kind of a corner in my bed area. Wait, where did the chat go? Oh shit. What have I done? What did I do? I had a chat and now the chat is gone. Oh shit. What have I done? Where did the chat go? Holy shit. Who is this person? Congratulations. I'm glad that you have. Also, where did my chat go? Hold on. I'm upset. No, that's not my chat. What? What the heck? What the doodly doos? What? Okay. What happened? Did I do something weird? Did I do something weird? Did I do that? Oh good God. What have I done? What have I done? I think this is supposed to be it. Whoops. I messed up my chat. Do you know when my chat disappeared? What did I do? Oh no. I think that was it, but I lost it. Oh shit. I messed it up. Oh, no, I fixed it. Okay, we're fine. I don't know how I messed that up. I don't know what I did. It doesn't matter though. You know what? I probably pressed... Oh, you know what I probably did? I probably pressed like one of my hotkeys when I was still selecting this window instead of this window. Cool. Okay, let me just finish this order. Oh yeah, I was thinking about if I want a pegboard. How much are they? 4-pack of pegboards. Do I want that? I kind of do. But do I? But do I? But do I? Pegboards are kind of neat. I have pegboards in my Sims game. This could be really useful in my room. 22 centimeters square, you say. Okay, how many centimeters is that? I'll be right back. I'm just gonna measure something in my room. Okay, yeah, I'm doing it. That could be really useful. I could use that. It's true. I measured it would actually be really useful. So I have a loft bed, like a mini loft. It's not very tall, and like the up there, because I'm all the way up there. Like I climb up there with my dog. If I need to get something outside of that little bed pod that I'm in, I need to go all the way back down and like I've got like a suicide barrier around it that's like these clear dog fencing stuff. And it's totally, it's really, really nice because I get up there and I'm like in this little rectangle room. It's really great. It's very, very cool. But I could use access to things a little bit easier. I'd been hanging like some baskets off of the suicide barrier gate thing. It's just like clear acrylic kind of like rectangle things. And then this would be better. Let me look at the video. Gimme. It just sticks on the wall. I have to install it. Yep, gimme that thing. Okay, great. Phenomenal. Sold. Give it. I didn't even need all that music, but fuck yeah. They're like, happy Jane, look at this, it is insane, la la la. I'm like, all right, take all my money. Ooh, there's also like artificial flower vines. Those are pretty. Okay, now they're just fucking with me. Now Amazon is just knowing that I'm a sucker for cute shit. They're like, you want to put flowers all over your room? You want to live in a magical garden? Do you want to live in a garden? I'm like, fucking shut up, Amazon. Yes, I do. But you can't take all of the money that I have. I don't have that much. Stop it. Anyways. Butthead. Amazon. What are you doing to me, man? Okay, I could use another USB hub though if I'm getting these things. Okay, hold on. Let me see if I want to do that. Also, do I want to get a white and a pink? Because if I have 4, is that enough? I feel like it is. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's that many. I could always order more later. You know what I'm saying? Or do I just want to get the white? Because white would work better in my room. Do I really want pink shells or do I want white shells? White shells are cheaper. Why didn't I get the white shells? And then I'll worry about the pink ones later. Because frankly, I don't think I need pink in my room. I don't really do pink in my room. It's more teal. If it was teal, it'd be a wrap. You know what I mean? If it was teal, forget it. Okay. Let's see here. How are we doing on cash money? Okay, that's fine. Do I want to order this right now or not? I think I'm gonna hold off on these two. I don't know. Go to cart. I'm thinking, hold on. Yeah, okay, let me go to my past returns and orders. All right, also, if you haven't tracked yet, this is a good time to get caught up with tracking while I do this and then fully earn this bad boy. Okay. Buy it again. Add to cart. is the one. I really like this one. Add to cart. Okay. We're doing good. I got everything I need. All right, everyone. Okay, folks. What's this do? Oh, I don't need that. Okay. All right. Looking at my cart. Go to cart. I don't think I want to spend that much today, so let me see what I can do. Save for later. Save that for later. Okay. And then we'll move this back to the cart. Do I want those yet? No, save for later. Okay. And this is how much? Okay, this is reasonable. I can afford this right now. Okay. Okay. Anyways, let me check in with chat. Oh, yay. Buy more wolf things. Yeah, I feel that. You know, it's tricky because it's like, sometimes I get really anxious when I'm buying anything because I don't have a super stable income. Like, it's just never been, it just can't, I'm not at the point where my income is ever consistent. And that's part of like what I'm doing here as somebody on the autism spectrum working on this idea of peer support is like, the issue is when you have autism, you are going to be under and unemployed almost like as a guarantee, which sucks. Is not fun. Super sucks, not cool. Hate that. But there isn't really a solution yet, and part of what we're doing here is cultivating solutions that actually work and are not you beating the odds, but are us changing the odds, right? So the problem that I have with a lot of this, in terms of like just the overall scenario that we're in here, is that that's not being acknowledged appropriately. It's really all still about like, we're gonna get you to beat the odds. I'm like, are you though? How? I don't believe that I'm the 10%. I don't believe that I'm that guy, right? Like, first of all, I'm not that egotistical. Second of all, I have no evidence in my life to suggest that I'm the person that beats the odds. And also, it's really gross to leave behind all my peers. Really, really gross. Don't like it. Don't want to do that. So for a whole bunch of reasons, that grosses me out. And yeah. Okay, so I got my order. Let me just check when these come in. Most of it's coming in on Friday. Or all of it's coming in on Friday. Woohoo. That's weird. They're like, delivery estimate, exactly the same. But in 2 boxes for some reason. Very weird. Oh well. Okay, so that's done. I have officially earned this. Let me see, did I click that on here? Yeah, I did. Okay. All right, so that's done. Great. Oh no, it's in your car for multiple days now. Oh no, your Fitbit. Oh no. But yes, new Fitbits don't last that long. I've had to replace, I haven't had a Fitbit for a minute because I've had the last one that I liked just totally broke. Also some, you know how like the band breaks? I'm sure it's a little bit better now because the last time I had it, granted, like, this was a couple years back now. Like, this was before the pandemic. Okay. Let me check my money. Sorry. My money. I hate money. You know that. I hate talking about money. I hate thinking about money. I hate it. I hate the system of money. I think it's broken. Well, it is broken. It's super broken, and I hate that it's broken, and we have to rely on it even though it's broken. So then interacting with it and interfacing with it and trying to talk about it just makes me feel very skin crawly. I don't like it. Okay, let me just figure out what I need to do there. Okay, that should be the last one of those. Okay, that's good. All right. Sitting in your car for multiple days now. Not car. Sorry, I was like, are you charging your car? My brain, you know, she's inconsistent. My brain. Okay. Great. Okay, so I checked my finances. And in DEATHSHAFTBOMB, shaft, it's finances, I believe. Wait, accounting. No, it's accounting. I've done my accounting. Food prep is the F in shaft. Yeah. I'm having some brain stabbies, I'm not gonna lie. It's been a lot better, but I'm having some brain stabbies. You know what it is, too? I watched a video on ADHD and, like, how to get things done with ADHD, and it was disastrous. It felt like, are you kidding me? Okay, hold on a second. I'm just gonna look at something really quickly. I don't know if I want to share it. Do you want to see it? So, you know my theory about how I think non-declarative memory is probably broken in some people and causes this, like, fear, threat, horrible signal to just bleem, what, that's not a word, to just bleat through your brain. Like, so watch this video and, like, okay, before you watch this, let's think about something. If I am correct, right, and the idea is that some people, if they try to use sequential memory and, like, short-term memory, which basically is the thing that you use to create lists and to keep track of where you are in the list, for some people that's going to be creating a panic signal. Like, you're just going to get more and more and more and more disoriented the more you try to use it. On the DSB site, the brain stabbies label soothing when you hover over it. Would you check if you done to help soothe the stabbies or if you had them? Oh, let me check. What do we... Oh, I think they just messed this up. It should be just stabbies. There was no rhyme or reason to that. That was just... I'd say, like, for now, to make it make sense, yes. Like, you should try to go do this. If this happens, try to do this. But I need to talk to Scud. Marks is the person that made this. I absolutely need to talk to them and ask for help. Yeah, don't worry about it too much because there's a couple issues that I need to ask about on there. It might take a while for me to get that done, but it will eventually get done. Okay, so for now, that's a decent enough solution to make it make sense to your brain. Okay, let's go watch this video for a second, and I'm just mad at it. It just was bad. It was no good. It was bad, and I don't know. So she also's got one that's like 3 easy steps. I'm like, I don't believe that they're gonna be easy. How to, let's see here, where was it? How to get things done, right? I'm like, that is the main issue, is how do you get things done? So let me go grab it, make it big. Okay, let me throw this on. I'm also gonna turn off the fun music so it's easier to listen to. It's
Why do some people always know what...
Wrong thing, sorry. Okay, all right, so come over with me. Do. So already I was like, how to push through tough tasks. I'm like, that doesn't sound like something my brain ever wants to do. Ah, crap, I did the thing again. Dang it. Okay. Did I fix it? No, I didn't. Oh, shit. Okay, wait, hold on. We got this. Oh, good God, what have I done? Okay, so that's like that. Okay, we're fine. Where is it? How to push through tough tasks. Okay. All right, watch this with me a little bit. I might even, you know what? I kind of want to... With ADHD, procrastination is huge. I hate phrasing it as procrastination. I hate it. Video on executive function. I think this is wrong. I think this model is wrong. Now, granted, whatever. I just think it's wrong. Okay, so let's go ahead.
Activities as motivators. This means that you is on non... Hi, I'm Dr. Tracy Marks, a psychiatrist, and I make mental health education videos. This is part of my series on non-medication ways to help your ADHD. You'll see a link to that playlist in the description of this video and in the corner. With ADHD, procrastination is huge. No one wants to do unpleasant things, but with ADHD, you can avoid doing things just because the scope of the task seems too great.
Pause. So just because the scope of the task seems too great, that assumes that you're able to do that sort of mental calculation. And if I'm saying that I think serial learning, non-declarative memory is impacted in some people with executive function, and this would fall under the purview of what she's describing, then what's happening is you can't do that kind of thinking. So here's a ruler, right? What I'm saying is that some people can go, let's see, is that the right direction? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, right? And they know where they are. Their brain actually keeps track of where they are by being like, I'm on 3 because I was just on 2, and I anticipate that I'm going to go to 4. And you're able to keep track of longer sequences, right? As well as just do this basic activity. We're not even talking about being able to do longer sequences. We're talking about moving to this brain region and it acting appropriately or typically at all. And I think some people it doesn't. So, and instead what ends up happening is you actually get disoriented. So it's like you end up in this thing, and instead of being able to keep track of where you are spatially, this is spatial information transformed into an abstraction. Okay, so you still think you're moving through space because ultimately we're just little glorified worms that eat and poop and move around, right? That's where we started from. That's all of our evolutionary history. Okay, so all animals eat, poop, move, okay? So if you need to know where you were and where you're going, and you use non-declarative memory to do this task, then you have to have that working. And if it doesn't work, I'm saying what seems to happen is some people's brains, either for whatever reason, they have a misfire, or there's something broken in this region of the brain. It's much smaller in people with ASD, this region of the brain that does non-declarative memory. Okay, so you go over there, you immediately get disoriented, and then your brain has to try to figure out where you are. So you're constantly exacerbating this threat signal that you don't know where you are, this fear of uncertainty, that you're not sure what's going on. So you're going to send somebody to this place where they automatically get disoriented and make it even more complicated and keep sending them back there, and you expect that to work? How?
It may have too many steps.
Too many steps. Okay, so she just said it may have too many steps. Listen to her explain how many extra steps she's going to say that an ADHD person needs to do.
I think that it's going to take too long. So with cognitive behavior therapy...
And think about how long all this shit is going to take to do every time.
We call these aversive tasks, meaning they seem too painful to start or complete. And the usual reasons that they seem aversive are being too big to get started.
What if you can't calculate how big it is or how getting started works?
It's boring and routine.
That's rude.
It takes you too long and you lose interest in it.
What if you can't calculate how long things take? How would you know that?
It has too many steps.
Oh, it has too many steps again. Oh, we're back to, it just has too many steps. And listen what she says.
You don't feel like doing all the steps.
Why don't you feel like doing all the steps? Why not? Because you're a lazy person? Because you're bad? Why don't you feel like doing all the steps? Is there a rational reason why somebody wouldn't want to do a bunch of steps if they physically can't because of their brain?
I talked in a previous video about breaking up large tasks.
Dropped on the
into
floor,
smaller
not responded to at all.
So go watch that video for more details.
Fix
on
your
that.
relationship with time. I think
Once
she's
you've
wrong.
got your
I have
set
respect for her in
tasks,
other areas.
Take the ones where you feel the most resistance to do it and
How would you be able to tell that? So if I'm saying that you can't tell where you are, how would you know the relationships between these numbers, these steps, when you can't even find the steps at all? How would you know what is the most rewarding and least rewarding and most difficult and least difficult? You're asking me now to prioritize based on something that is a sequence. Not only are you telling me to go use sequence learning, but now you're telling me to organize sequence learning based on preference. How am I supposed to do that? It doesn't make any sense. You want me to go to my impaired brain region and do something even more complicated with it? This doesn't make sense.
pair it with a rewarding task. Some examples of rewarding tasks would be watching something on television, going for a walk, group chatting with friends, listening to an interesting podcast episode. You don't want it to be something to eat like...
Why are you saying those are rewarding? Why are they rewarding? Why are they rewarding? Are there some, you're saying don't have a slice of cake because...
Having a slice of cake, because you don't want to associate reward with food.
This is so simplistic. I just disagree with
That
this.
perpetuates emotional eating.
I don't believe in emotional eating.
It's best to create a list of rewarding activities to have on hand so that...
Oh, you want me to create a list? Ooh, oh boy, you want me to create a list. So the impaired thing, you want me to make a list to fix the fact that I have a hard time with lists. Wonderful, let's keep going.
When faced with something that you don't want to do, you can immediately pull from the list. On the list, include the time that it takes to complete.
Wonderful, now I have to figure out how time works, and I'm supposed to have time blindness. Great, thank you for making, what do you...
The reward. If you can't think of things to do that you find rewarding, think of what you'd rather do instead. And it needs to be something that you'd reasonably do, not like, I'd rather be on a trip to Bali. But if you think to yourself, I don't feel like doing this.
What does that mean that I don't... This is
I
so
think I'm gonna
insulting.
go watch an episode of Westworld.
This is not how this
And
works.
That becomes the reward that motivates you to finish the task.
We are not... The reward to motivate you to finish. So you're talking about goals, right? Like you're motivated by knowing about a goal. It just bothers the hell out of me. Is this your response to this video as it pertains to your personally or to many ADHD people or to... I think, here's what I think. If I am correct about this region of the brain being impacted, then bypassing it would be a useful strategy for literally anybody. If you have this brain region and it works fine, which I don't exactly know what it looks like in ADHD, that's fine. Maybe you can do this. For me, I can't do what she's suggesting. That is absurd. And if this region is impacted, and I'm saying the solution is to bypass it and stay in declarative memory, use anchors in data and in kind of fantasy and imagination to create motivation, rather than trying to go over to this list thing, then it would work for anybody. It would work for her. Like it would work for anybody. You just wouldn't have to use that region of your brain. And if you can't use it, then it's critical.
So you push through the task so you can get to the reward.
How do you push
Now,
through
in
the
my
task?
Time management video, I talk about keeping a time log.
Great.
of
Now we have
how
to
long
keep a
things
time
take
log.
and
Great.
scheduling
Excellent.
tasks in your planner.
Oh, I have to
So
schedule
if you
more.
add in a reward.
So she said the issue is things taking too long, right? And then the issue of lists being too long. How long is this list? How long would this take?
End of a task.
I'm going
You
to
need to
speed
make
through
sure
this
that
because
you
you can
add
see how
that to
much
the time log.
she's adding to
You
you.
can also use regularly scheduled pleasant activities as motivators.
Now I have to
Means
regularly schedule things and keep track of a schedule. How many extra steps is she possibly going to add here to the person that supposedly is impaired in this sort of thing? This makes no sense.
your unpleasant activity around the natural breaks. Let's say you normally watch the news at a certain time and you enjoy doing that. Then plan to do your hour-long unpleasant activity an hour before the news show. Then you can recover from your unpleasant activity by watching.
Now you have to know exactly how long that hour-long news show. You have to calculate hours. You have to juggle time. You have to be aware of time. You have to watch the pacing of...
the news. Another way you can use the reward system is do the pleasurable activity at the same time that you're doing the unpleasant one. So with this strategy, you would refer to your planner to see the
Oh, now I have a planner and I have to
things that
keep
you
planning
do
all the
that
time
day,
even though
and
I'm
then
bad at
other things that you
planning.
can pair with something enjoyable. like folding clothes while watching television or listening to a podcast episode while you're exercising. Let's say there isn't a specific activity that you want to do while you're performing the task because it takes a lot of concentration or focus. In that case, find a way to create a soothing environment to do the activity. For example, instead of sitting at a desk to file an online insurance claim, do it outside on your deck or sit in a...
This part makes sense for reasons she's not thinking about, which is like, if go to a place with less things in the environment that can create noise, that makes sense, but not for the reason she's saying.
Comforting surroundings help offset the negative experience you have.
Wrong. Comforting surroundings are less sensory averse. So the sensory data that you're getting from your environment is less distracting because it's less loud and painful and upsetting. Like if you go to a more neutral environment with less to pay attention to, or you have very strong pleasant signals coming in from one sensory region, you know, where it's like, okay, we're focused on tactile information. Okay, great. I'm in a soothing thing. Fine. Then you're drowning out all of the negative sensory information or overwhelming sensory information. It's not even negative. It's just overwhelming.
Of completing the task. And this isn't something you naturally think to do. You have to purpose to do the unpleasant task in a pleasant environment. If you just push through,
I agree with this
get it
part,
done,
but for
you're
different
reinforcing the
reasons.
Experience as something really unpleasant.
Disagree with that. It's just that you're fighting your brain. You're putting more noise into a brain that can't filter out noise.
And if it's something you have to do again, it may be harder to push through the next time because you remember how much you hated.
I hate this. I disagree with all this. I don't think that's how this works. Maybe, yeah. And here's the prioritized stuff. I can't prioritize. That's my argument.
So using this approach, you could rank your priorities as things that are
How?
important. So using this approach,
So
could
you
rank
want?
your priorities
Let me
as
go back a
things
little
that are
bit.
important, tasks by looking at the level of urgency and importance. So using this approach, you could rank your priorities as things that are important and urgent, important but not urgent, not important but urgent, and not important and not urgent.
Wonderful. I have to make a really complicated way of categorizing the thing that I'm bad at even doing. Amazing.
You tend to be driven more by the things that are urgent regardless of their importance, and things can become urgent simply because they were put off for a later time. So then they end up taking up priority over the things that could have been more important because
I'm sure that works for your brain. I just don't know what you're talking about.
important and urgent things would be things like things that are required for your job or school. They're urgent because they have inflexible deadlines. Important but not urgent could be things like exercising, doing grocery shopping so that you can cook a healthy meal instead of ordering.
How do you know? That depends. It depends. It depends. It always depends. Maybe that is more urgent to exercise.
Takeout. Not important but urgent can be things that don't necessarily have much consequence to you, but someone else's.
How am I supposed to guess when a consequence is going to happen? That's the whole point. I'm here and I don't know where here and here is. Oh my God.
Patience makes it urgent. Or someone asks you to do something, but because they waited until the last minute, they need it urgently, and if you want to be a team player or support them, you'll meet their timeline. And then not important and not urgent tend to be pie in the sky things that you'd like to do at some point, like reorganize your closet, or it could be something that someone else could do for you. And these are things that are usually appealing in some way because maybe they don't require a lot of thought, or maybe it's something.
I don't know what she's talking about. And like, this doesn't make any sense to me. And I'm just tired of pretending that it does. It super doesn't. Like, you're asking me to use the region of my brain that's broken even more and then take up all this time to do it, even when you said that the reason why people don't want to do things is they think it'll take up too much time. And what you're suggesting, if I even try to imagine myself succeeding at doing this, that I would do nothing else in my life. Like, I don't even, and I'd still fail. I'd still fail because my brain would implode. I would get there and then the pain would be like searing because my brain has something wrong with it in that exact area. So why am I doing it like that? It doesn't make any fucking sense. Now, granted, I'm going to keep these and criticize them more later because like this just upsets the hell out of me. But like, dear God, let me bookmark these. This is wrong. I'm just going to say this is wrong. Okay, let me make a new bookmark. I'm going to bookmark this. I still have a lot of research that I'm reading. But like, Jesus Christ, that's just not it. I don't have a strong enough way to break down why it's wrong, but it's wrong because I can see the shape of it. I can see the shape. I can see the relationships between data even when it's really abstract. And that's just wrong. That's just wrong. I understand it because if that part of your brain works, it sort of makes sense to overestimate like how functional it is in other people. Totally makes sense because I think you can rely on it and switch to it and switch back from it. And it's just like isn't a big deal. It's an impossible deal. It's a deal with the devil. Like, I can't fucking do that. which I don't care if people don't believe me at this point, because it's like, it's more valuable for me to just keep doing my research on it and believe in myself and just like, you know, go that route than to worry about people not getting it right now. Like, they'll get it later. They'll appreciate what I'm doing later. For now, I just need to stop listening to things that don't work. It's not ever going to help me or anybody who has a similar brain issue to me. And, you know, in the meantime, while I'm getting a little bit upset about it, I think that it's well-intentioned. That's all I need to know, is that, like, okay, that they want to help, but they're making it worse. So if they can get solid evidence that they've made it worse, and then their ability to help is enhanced, everyone's happy at the end of the day, right? So even if I'm a weirdo for a short amount of time, also I want to fix the scale of this, don't mind me. I'll take it. I think maybe I have to do this. Hang on. Yeah, I do. Like, I'll take it on the chin. You know what I'm saying? I can take it on the chin for a while. But eventually, I think I'll get my, you know, my due diligence done, and then I'll get my, my flowers, as it were. I'll get some amount of, you know, whatchamacallit, validation for what I've been working on. What the heck have I done here? Don't mind me. I've made this weird again. Hold on. Yeah, all that matters at the end of the day is that, like, people are trying to be helpful, and so am I. So I don't have any issues with that. All right, let's go to music again. I lost the music. Where did it go? Here it is. Okay. Oh gosh darn it, not again. Okay. I have to remember to, like, pull the music down here. There.
Hi, I'm Dr. Tracy Marks, a psychiatrist,
no,
and I make
stop!
mental health education videos.
Thank you, Tracy Marks. Yeah, 3 easy steps. What are the 3 easy steps? I'm so scared. I'm sure some of this is good. I need to be less mean, or less, I don't know, less jaded or something. Oh man, what have I done? Hold on. I've made a mess again. Great. Okay. Well, shoot. What have I done now? Okay, there we go. Right? Did I fix it? I didn't fix it? What has happened? Oh, shit. What did I... Oh, man. What have I done? Why is that like that now? Shit. That's my jazz one. What did I do? Should be fine now. Oh, for God's sakes. Okay, hold on. What have I done? Okay. What did I do? Is that the right one? Oh, good God. Okay, I fixed it. All right. Ugh. Lo-fi beats to get frustrated at mainstream notions of mental health, too. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I just think... I think we're at a crossroads where this is going to get addressed successfully. And I ended up right at the crossroads because of the things that I have looked at to understand my own brain and impairments. And I'm like, no, fix this now. That's not my job. That's your job. And here's some stuff in memory studies you should be looking at immediately, right now. That's very recent, like within the past 4 years. Get over here. Like, your model's wrong. Update it now. Stop telling people this. Or at least, if it does work for some people, can you put a big ass caveat and be like, well, that means this parts of your brain still works. Congratulations. Now you can do this advice because part of your brain that otherwise would keep you from doing this advice clearly is fine. Okay. Let's do some writing down of ideas and stuff that are on my puzzle planner things. I hate the word planner, so unfortunately some of my tools that I've been developing have names that I no longer like, and I don't know what to do with that yet, but we'll get there. Oh, I'm so upset! Okay, let me get this and this. And then I might be doing some reading today, I don't know yet. Oh, actually, before we do that, let me go over to my Sims game. I just want to look at my mental time traveler. It used to be all called the Spatial Calendar, but I, again, have changed a lot of my names, so that's now a mental time traveler. Also, I want a cuter filter. Let's go back here. What do we got? That's not that cute. This is cute. I'll go with this one. That's nice. I feel bad that it's so funny in a terrible way for me when Jane is upset about this vocally. No, it's fine. I'm doing it. I'm hamming it up a bit because it's cathartic for me as well. Like, I'm trained as a clown. You know what I'm saying? So like, I have that as a instrument to play. It's my sad little tiny violin, and I know how to play it very well. So you're meant to laugh. You're good. You're good. It's catharsis. Okay, so let's go over to the Spatial Calendar. I moved it over onto this one. This is very loud, isn't it? Okay, audio, let me pull this to like there. Okay. I forget where it's in here. Yeah, Mental Time Traveler is what this is now called. Everything is fine. Okay. Yeah, I hate this idea that, like, anxiety should exclusively be explained by learned discomfort. I'm like, I don't know, though, because I was like, how did I learn that by the time I was, like, 1? Or not even. Like, why was I colicky? Like, maybe I've always had an issue of, like, being upset about having to deal with something in a way that I can't. Like, that's upsetting, just by virtue of, like, I can't deal with it because of it being upsetting. Like, I don't understand why that is a disconnect. Where it's like, the upset is created by the way in which it's malfunctioning. Not because it's malfunctioning, but the way that it malfunctions creates upsetness. Like, creates anxiety, creates uncertainty, creates fear. Isn't that possible? Not my response to it, not my feelings about it. Like, I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. I feel that I hate it. That's a feeling. That's a damn ass feeling right there. Where I'm like, I think that's wrong. Things that are wrong upset me. Because that means that you're moving in accordance to your wrong model. And I already find the world very unpredictable because I can't filter out noise. And now I have to deal with you going rogue. The system just doesn't help him. Yeah, me having to remind Jay he doesn't actually want to quit. Yeah, the system doesn't help him. Can Jay come through here and work on some ideas here? He should. Because I also am in music, and it would be interesting to kind of bounce ideas off of each other a little bit about what isn't working. Okay, so I have an appointment. I think it's actually at 12. Let me double check if that's on a calendar. It's probably in my email. All right, one second. So frustrating. Yeah, I think it is at 11, so I'm okay. Do I want... Oh, wait, what am I doing? Okay, I'm gonna go to that. Or should I go later? You know what? Let me go later. I'll go later. Okay. Alright, so I'm going somewhere today for like a photo shoot type vibe. So let me get this filled out. So the idea of this mental time traveler thing I realized is like I can just visualize things I'm doing, which is nice, as if I'm gonna be there in my head, and then I can think about what that actually looks like, and this is good. This has to happen probably here. And then I'm going there at 4. Just probably get there here. Wait, is that right? Yeah. Okay. All right, let me get caught up in chat. I have to ask, he doesn't really know all that we discuss here. He just knows I watch streams with this and the Discord. I would need to fill him in. Yeah. You're in music, yes, but he's in academia, so it's a oh, right. Because he's classical, right? Yeah, that makes sense. But isn't it the same population, kind of? Like academic musicians and like commercial musicians? Isn't it kind of the same folks? So wouldn't it be set up to accommodate generally one type of person? Going for a PhD in the fall, right on. Yeah, that's dope. He's a composer. Yeah. I'd wonder what his peers are like, and I wonder if comparing our peer groups would be interesting, like how I perceive my peers versus how he perceives his peers. I'd be curious about that. Just even to hear comparisons and differences and all that. Okay. That's cute. I want that picture. Okay, let's see here. I just need to write calendar because I can't find the one I want. Where's the photo shoot? Recording studio. I know I made a photo shoot. Did I not save it? Oh shit, maybe I didn't. Oh, here it is. Okay. You know what? Let me actually move that. Put that there. Whoopsie. Oh, actually, you know what I was thinking of doing? I did this on the other one. I kind of want to grab this gate and put a little gate around it. Okay. This one, right? Oh, it did. Is there a fence on that? Oh, I think I already did it. Okay, there is a fence on that. Okay, good. Then I can move this without having to worry about them being connected. Yeah. Yeah, we're good. Okay. So... probably about to there. You move this in the center. There we go. All right. And then this appointment is pretty much here. When you want to be a professor, his concerns are kind of different. Oh, absolutely, of course. Especially since he's usually in relatively small groups because composer degrees aren't many people. Yeah. Oh, I'm sure. It's got to be. Well, but think about, like, how many people are trying to be rappers. It's actually a lot smaller than you'd think. Like, online, yeah, but, like, in person, like, my pool of, like, people that I know that are, like, actually touring and recording is not that big. I'm sure his is still smaller, but mine's not, probably much larger. Chiropractor, where are you? You know what? I wonder if I should just... No, that's fine. Okay. Oh, is I Am Not a Duck saved somewhere? You know, I'm just gonna put this over here for now. Okay, I have a meeting at 11. We don't know for sure what he's going for yet. Okay, cool. That's really interesting. Okay, this has to happen there. Oh shit, I'm supposed to do 3 to 5. I'm supposed to do a training. Okay. Honestly, I'm like at the point where I'm like, I don't want to do it. Okay, hold on. Let me go look at this. Oopsie, my bad. I forgot about that. I really need pics. I'm just gonna do it like that. Okay, I know what I'm gonna do. It's fine. Okay. All right. So, God. Let me do some note taking. Now that that's basically done, I have some notes that I wanted to transfer over to my notebook. And then, yeah. Okay, I'll be right back. I just, right back. I just need to grab my notebook. Okay. Here we are. Okay. I want to change what this looks like. Change icon. There we go. That's what I want. Oh, they won't let me use that. That's okay. These are the only options I can get for an icon? That's really weird. Apply? Okay, well, that's fine, I guess. Where can I put this guy? No. 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 Could be like a bow. That's fine. It's in my brain. Perfect. Okay. Okay, have a good work. All right, let me go over here. So yeah, if you want to do anything while I'm working on this, the invitation is like, do whatever, talk about whatever. Hello, I'm upside down. And then we can kind of just like create better things for this time as we go. Right now I'm in my bullet journal transferring over these guys, which are in need of a new name, if I'm being fully honest with myself. Also, let me turn this light up all the way, otherwise it does that like weird thing. Okay. I'm just making notes about this idea that I have about addressing more successfully the underemployment, unemployment. they don't know what they've been doing wrong. Even if they do know, they don't know how to solve it. That's the issue with the therapist. What they've been doing wrong, even if they do know, they don't obviously know how to solve it. Yeah. Solve it. Okay. Cleaning this off so it can go back into circulation. Okay. Let me see here. Is there anything around here? I think I'm going to do some reading on planning. All right, let's do some reading. Let me finish wiping these off and putting them away. I think I'm caught up now. I should have all of my whatever these things are. I need a better name. I need a name based more in current neuroscience, and they're not. So I don't have that yet. Okay. Puzzlets is fine, actually. Puzzlets. It's like Post-its, but puzzly. Actually, I guess that... Hold on. Am I running out of ink? What's the deal? Oh, I am. Okay. Fair enough. I'll dump this one in a sec. Yeah, this one's dead. All right, we're gonna read this study that I'm on. All right. All right, let's go over to this one. Planning in the Brain. This is from 2022. This is last year, basically. Recent breakthroughs in artificial intelligence, AI, have enabled machines to plan in tasks previously thought to be uniquely human. Meanwhile, the planning algorithms implemented by the brain itself remain largely unknown. No kidding. Here we review neural and behavioral data in sequential decision-making tasks that elucidate the ways in which the brain does and does not plan. To systematically review available biological data, we create a taxonomy of planning algorithms by summarizing the relevant design choices for such algorithms in AI across species, recording techniques and task paradigms. We find converging evidence that the brain represents future states consistent with the class of planning algorithms within our taxonomy: focus, depth, limited, and serial. Focus, depth, limited, and serial. Serial's broken for me. However, we argue that current data are insufficient for addressing more detailed algorithmic questions. We propose a new approach leveraging AI advances to drive experiments that can adjudicate between competing candidate algorithms. Introduction. Life is full of choices, from the barely noticeable, such as selecting the right muscle contractions to reach for a glass, through the mundane, such as picking the best wine for an occasion, to the momentous, such as choosing a partner for life. Making all those choices is difficult because their consequences tend to only pan out over time, often well after we have made the choice. Thus, the result of any choice will typically depend on a whole sequence of choices we have made on the way, a sequence of motor commands for grasping the glass, a sequence of turns for navigating to the wine shop, and a sequence of decisions between going on a date and proposing to get married. Despite the challenges of sequential decision making, humans and other animals are often able to perform impressively well in such tasks. How we achieve this performance, however, is poorly understood, which is a big problem for some people like myself, right? So this is clearly a problem, right? A common approach for making sequential decisions is by planning, a process that considers actions and their sequential interdependence in terms of the desirability of their outcomes. By forecasting the long-term consequences of candidate actions, planning allows agents to flexibly adapt their behavior in response to changes both in the environment and in their goals. For this reason, planning is a fundamental component of intelligent behavior in both biological and artificial agents. However, in practice, there is a price to pay. Planning exactly and exhaustively for all eventualities may require vast resources, time, memory, computational power, see cursive dimensionality. Thus, the key question is how to perform planning efficiently under realistic resource limitations without making undue sacrifices on performance and flexibility, for the brain must be using such efficient planning strategies. Although planning has been a classical subject of investigation in psychology, it remains one of the most elusive cognitive processes at the neural level. This is the problem. So if I have an impairment right there, I'm screwed. If I do, which it seems that I do, how are you supposed to help me when you just admitted to this, right? Thank you, other humans. It's not going to happen. It's going to be pseudoscientific woo-wah. A main factor limiting progress has been the relatively impoverished nature of tasks typically used to study the neuroscience of decision-making. Those tasks often focus on only a single step of decision, unlike the tasks we typically encounter in our lives, which are instead sequential in nature. Of course, the simplicity of single-step tasks has the advantage of greater tractability. I knew this word last week, and I need to refresh it. Hold on. Control. Yeah, capable of being easily led, taught, or controlled. Okay. Indeed, in single-step tasks, planning amounts to the selection of a single action in terms of the desirability of its immediate outcome. 1, 2, 3, 4. That sort of thing. Leveraging this simplicity, neuroscientists have been able to disassociate the neural basis of planned, goal-directed versus reflexive habitual behavior. Single-step tasks have also allowed much progress in characterizing the computations and neural signals associated with related processes such as perceptual decision-making and economic choice. However, single-step tasks have limited ecological validity, resting on the assumption that agents and their actions have no effect in the world beyond the immediate reward they obtain. As a result, these tasks do not tap into some of the key challenges of real-life planning, which often unfold over longer time horizons. Unfortunately, in an incredibly complex environment where everyone else has agency too, right? Where it's like, what are you going to do with that? So many agents. Unfortunately, deploying more complex and cognitively demanding paradigms risks losing the interpretability of behavioral and neural measurements. We suggest the best way to solve this impasse, as is often the case, is to have formally defined computational hypotheses. Yes, in the case of planning, these hypotheses take the form of candidate planning algorithms that perform competently on tasks of realistic complexity and offer specific experimentally testable predictions. Okay. Fortunately, there now exist many examples of such algorithms. Recent advances in artificial intelligence have given us important clues as to the key ingredients of planning algorithms that work well in practice. These algorithms now achieve near or even superhuman performance on a number of difficult, large-scale sequential decision-making tasks, rendering them relevant for understanding how the brain may implement planning on tasks of similar complexity. While these algorithms remain unable to perform well in the largely unconstrained settings in which humans operate, we argue that they might give hints as to what is really important for superior importance, right, which I would desperately need to know. Our reasoning is that each planning algorithm developed in AI can be thought of as a recipe for converting goals and knowledge of the world into actions. Yes, this is what I want to know. A recipe for converting goals and knowledge of the world into actions. This is it. As such, these algorithms share a number of commonalities in the way they produce an output, but they also differ in a number of important ways related to the richness of the prior knowledge they employ, how they prioritize different steps of computation, and how they incorporate the results of these computations into future decisions. Collectively, the various algorithms developed in AI span a sizable space of the different ways in which planning can be accomplished in principle. This is what I'm saying. I want to accomplish planning, or whatever, turning, converting goals and knowledge of the world into actions in a different way. I want to have a different way of accomplishing this because I think the standard way isn't going to work for me. Critically, the usefulness of AI or the typically developed way isn't going to work for me. Critically, the usefulness of AI algorithms for understanding biological planning does not rest on the assumption that the exact same algorithms are used by artificial and biological organisms. Indeed, there are known fundamental differences between the two. For instance, while the chess-playing system Deep Blue was able to defeat Garry Kasparov 3.5 to 2.5, it achieved this performance by evaluating 200 million positions per second, whereas Kasparov achieved a similar performance, presumably evaluating only a handful of positions per second. Nonetheless, we argue that it is the fundamental design decisions and consequent algorithmic motifs that are critical for developing efficient planning algorithms in AI that should also apply to the algorithms that the brain might implement. In other words, by specifying a number of ways in which planning can be accomplished in principle, we suggest that AI algorithms can also help neuroscientists formalize how planning can be achieved in practice by the brain, which in turn facilitates the generation of clear hypotheses that can be tested experimentally, hopefully in people like myself. A similar symbiosis between AI and cognitive neuroscience has in fact already been highly fruitful in the discovery of the core algorithms underlying reward-based learning in the brain, 97, leading to insights into the neural basis of habitual behavior and its relationship to goal-directed control, 2005. What we propose then is to leverage this approach to planning algorithms more broadly, 2014. Therefore, in this perspective, we advocate for a closer symbiosis between the fields of neuroscience and AI, which I like, to shed light on how the brain performs planning. We start by reviewing the essential components of planning and laying out a map for the most relevant dimensions of the space of planning algorithms through the lessons learned from AI. Equipped with this map, we present for each dimension the most relevant algorithms in AI while discussing each existing behavioral and neuroscientific while discussing how existing behavioral and neuroscientific data from humans and animals can be used to rule in and out candidate algorithms. We find that while this research has identified a number of relevant brain regions and some general algorithmic motifs, the existing data remain largely unable to discriminate various algorithmic details. Finally, we use this systemic approach to suggest important areas for further research and propose an approach that could narrow the space of potential planning algorithms that the brain may use, which I am very, very, very interested in. Okay, let me see. What do we got here? All right. Okay, we're going to just read the whole damn thing, I guess. Okay, that's fine. It's worth it. Okay, reflexive versus planning agents. In this article, we define planning as the process of selecting an action or sequence of actions in terms of the desirability of their outcomes. Note that this definition includes as a special case a selection of actions in terms of their immediate one-step outcomes, in which case the label goal-directed behavior is commonly used. At the other extreme, when actions are chosen based on the desirability of distant outcomes in the future, our definition also includes the special case when even the motivational state determining the desirability of those outcomes is predicted to be different from the agent's current motivational state. This latter case has proved particularly useful for establishing planning behavior in studies of prospective simulations in non-human animals. That's really, really, really good to know. I also think that this could be a split between non-declarative and declarative memory already. According to our definition, planning involves two fundamental computations. 1, estimating the outcomes of one's actions, and 2, assessing the utility of such outcomes. These computations are some of the most fundamental ingredients of intelligence, and as such, planning has always been a central topic in AI. Okay. Indeed, some of the first AI programs ever written, the logic theorists and the general problem solver developed by Newell and Simon in the 1950s, were in essence planning systems. Since then, planning has emerged as one of the major AI methods for action selection in autonomous agents. Autonomous agents, biological or artificial, continuously perform the perception-action loop. 2010, perceiving and assessing their current situation in the environment, the state, and then selecting and executing an appropriate action, thereby modifying their future situation in the environment, a state transition. The goal of the agent when selecting actions is defined either in terms of a specific state that needs to be achieved, e.g. having our wine glass full, or more generally as the maximization of a graded quantity, reward to be accumulated over time, e.g. the hedonistic value of consecutive sips from our wine. I don't know about that, but yeah, okay. Let me look at that again. Are these separate in the brain? Reward. Well, isn't that just like an improvement? Okay. Right. All right. Okay. I'm not sure about that, but okay. Policies the algorithm place the environment. Okay. Cool. A and B. Action perception loop. The agent left perceives the outcome, sensory observations, and reward, including the attainment of goals center top. Generated by the current state of the environment, right? And executes an action center bottom, resulting in the environment transitioning to a new state. A and B. Okay. A reflexive agent action selects actions based on a stored policy, which maps the current state inferred from observations of the environment to an output action. This policy is gradually updated based on interactions with the environment. Okay. B, a planning agent selects actions based on the desirability of their expected consequences. The agent stores an internal model which predicts the outcomes, rewards, and state transitions resulting from any given state in action. The internal model is learned based on interactions with the environment. The policy then can be updated temporarily or permanently based on interactions with the internal model via the process of planning. Thus, planning amounts to querying the model to evaluate candidate actions to inform current or future decisions. The orange and green arrows respectively indicate inputs and outputs to the internal model. C. Okay. A closer look at the three main ingredients of planning algorithms based on B. The model center purple, that determines the type of output returned to a query. Model input left orange represents the query itself, and output incorporation right green, representing how the model outputs are used to inform future behavior. Okay, and then we have this guy. Algorithm 1, 2, 3. Interesting. Okay. The space of planning algorithms spanning the three dimensions corresponding to the main ingredients listed in C. Different planning algorithms correspond to different combinations of design choices for these ingredients. And as such to different points in the space. Black dots show hypothetical examples. I see. Interesting. Very interesting. Okay. Planning-based methods for autonomous behavior contrast with and sometimes complement reflex-based methods. Reflex-based methods are those in which the agent directly maps states to the actions, an approach typically associated with classical models, forms of reinforcement learning. I don't know about that. The mapping from states to actions called policy can be represented directly or indirectly. When it is represented indirectly, the agent instead represents the long-term desirability values of states, such that the policy amounts to choosing the action in each state that leads the agent to a higher value state. Okay. Policies or values can be either hardwired as in most, see, this is what I don't like, as in most Pavlovian behaviors. That could be very wrong. Or learned, classical conditioning has issues according to this theory of constructed emotion. I don't, okay. All right, hang on. The same policy. Planning agent such. Okay. Oh boy. Type 1, type 2 reasoning. I need to look into that. I don't know about this part of this thing. Yeah, I don't like this. I don't like this at all. I don't think I like dual process theory in general. I don't know about this. Oof. And then Y Combinator likes it. Jesus. This is, I don't like this. I don't think this is good. Okay. Heavy sigh. Okay, so I'm skimming, unfortunately, because I just don't want to take on stuff that's wrong too much right now. Okay, here we go. Brain areas involved in planning. To study how planning is implemented by the brain, it is useful to know which brain regions are most relevant to the computations underlying planning. However, well, hippocampus is going to be in here, isn't it? However, different planning tasks may present the brain with fundamentally different computational challenges, e.g. motor control versus navigation, which is kind of the same, babe. Dealing with continuous versus discrete state spaces while planning on short versus long-term horizons, respectively. You just implied that time and space are different for us, and what if they're not? And may consequently engage different sensory, cognitive, and motor systems. Sure, okay. Accordingly, different planning tasks will often engage different brain regions. See, but I disagree with this. I sort of disagree with that. Okay, note that the involvement of a brain region in the execution of a planning task does not automatically imply that this region mediates planning. Conversely, even brain areas that seem to have a critical involvement in planning may also contribute to processes other than planning. Nonetheless, some regions are consistently recruited in the vast majority of planning tasks and have been explicitly distinguished from those critical for reflexive behavior. These areas are our primary focus here. First, the prefrontal cortex has been identified as the region most directly associated with planning. Without a functional prefrontal cortex, humans appear to be largely stimulus-bound, executive behaviors in a reflexive manner, and neglecting any potential goal. When performing sequential decision tasks, patients with frontal lesions often fail to achieve task goals. But my argument here is like, it's because it's sequential. And express difficulties in planning and rule-guided behavior, despite understanding the requirements of the task. In converging neuroimaging results, tasks that require planning, such as the Tower of Hanoi or its variants, seem to activate a number of frontal regions in humans, and PFC, prefrontal cortex activation, increases with planning difficulty. Note that the involvement of PFC in planning and decision-making does not contradict another large body of work implicating PFC in the active maintenance of information for subsequent use. As a crucial component of planning is the active maintenance of current goals in working memory. Here we go, working memory, thank you. And then what's wrong when the... In addition to PFC, other brain structure deeply involved in planning is the striatum, a subcortical structure in the basal ganglia that receives input from various areas of the brain, including the frontal cortex. Basal ganglia, yes, thank you. While the circuitry involving the striatum is most commonly associated with the less flexible habitual system, which I don't know about, this region is also involved in flexible planning-based strategies. Indeed, both lesions and recording studies in Robin suggest that the dorsomedial portion of the striatum is essential for goal-directed behavior. For instance, lesions to dorsomedial striatum seem to abolish the sensitivity of behavior to outcome devaluation while leaving reflexive behavior largely intact. Sensitive behavior to outcome devaluation. In primates, they do repetitive stuff. Is that what's happening? In primates, a similar subdivision between the caudate nucleus and the putamen maps onto the rodent dorsomedial and dorsolateral striatum, with the caudate being the most closely associated with goal-directed behavior and the putamen with motor preparation, learning, and execution. While the approaches and results described above have been instrumental in delineating the conditions under which a behavior is due to reflexive or planning-based computations, and the importance of the PFC and dorsomedial striatum in mediating the latter, they are not adequate for identifying the specific algorithms the brain uses for planning. To address this more granular level of description, 2 more ingredients are needed. First, sufficiently rich behavioral paradigms need to be employed. In particular, tasks with a single step of decision, often used in animal studies, are usually not ideal, as all planning algorithms predict the same response, i.e. the selection of the action that leads to the largest reward. Instead, tasks should ideally involve multiple steps of decisions for which different planning algorithms predict different behavioral and neural signatures. Therefore, in the following, we will focus mainly on empirical data obtained using such sequential decision tasks. The second necessary ingredient is the systematic understanding of how different planning algorithms map onto such behavioral and neural signatures. For this, the classical approach would be to focus on a select subset of specific algorithms and test them via model fits. Here we take a more systematic approach and identify the fundamental design decisions and consequent algorithmic motifs underlying essentially all planning algorithms. This allows us to build a comprehensive map of planning algorithms and look for empirical evidence for the main dimensions of algorithmic variability. The rest of this paper develops such a map and critically evaluates what we do and do not know about where the planning algorithms of the brain are located in this map. Okay, to develop an algorithmic map of planning, we first need to understand its basic ingredients. The most critical ingredient used in all planning algorithms, including mine, I would assume, is an internal model of the environment, the agent's representation of how the environment responds to the agent's actions. When the agent interrogates the model with a particular action in a particular state, the model produces a prediction of the outcome, the resulting state and reward, or whether a goal is achieved. Using the internal model, planning agents can learn from counterfactuals. If I perform action X, outcome Y might happen, inferring what action sequences are most appropriate without having to try each one out in the environment. This is particularly useful when the actions being considered are costly or may lead to catastrophic consequences. So I'm going to suggest that, like, maybe this is what's happening in the brains of people with sequential impairment of some kind, where the serial stuff, the sequence stuff, and that short-term memory isn't working properly or working typically. So what we could do instead is then go into this internal model of the environment, and it can be fantastical because we'd be better at mapping out logic by virtue of being stuck in declarative memory, since non-declarative memory is impaired. And if we're stuck in declarative memory, and that has 2 main aspects of it, which is 1, categorizing all of the data that you have like a librarian, and 2, creating these mental time travel scenarios, like you have like a holodeck in your brain, then those combined together means you can make a logical allegorical world in your head and ignore what's happening in reality so that you don't have to go into this part of your brain that's fucked up, is what I'm suggesting. Now, this is like the Walter Mitty approach, and I get why some people might be a little bit like squeamish about this, but I don't care at this point. The performance of a planning algorithm, let me make a note about this. Used in all planning algorithms. Okay. An internal model of the environment most critical ingredient used in all planning algorithms. An internal model of the environment, the agents, representation of how the environment responds to the agent's actions. The agent's representation of how the environment responds to the agent's actions. When the agent interrogates the model with a particular action in a particular state, the model produces a prediction of the outcome, the resulting state and reward, or whether a goal is achieved. Using the figure 1b, where are you? That's this guy. I see. Okay. Here we go. We're going to get to my buddy, the hippocampus, in a minute. An episodic memory. The performance of a planning algorithm can be the performance of a planning algorithm can be only as good as the internal model it uses. An incorrect internal model can give rise to biased beliefs about action outcomes, which in turn may lead to suboptimal or even pathological behavior. Thus, interacting with the world is essential for learning and improving the internal model itself. So this is what I'm arguing when people are like, oh, autistic people are more interested in things than people. People give really inaccurate information. So I'm interested in people that give accurate information. I need to know about the world as accurately as possible because I'm not going to be able to fake it socially. I'm not going to be able to keep myself safe socially, as well as I'm going to be able to keep myself safe empirically by like understanding this is how it is. I'm going to agree with reality. When the model is learned by interacting with the world, each experience can be used to improve the model, which then indirectly can inform multiple future decisions. Yes. In this way, planning, this is good. In this way, planning allows the agent to make fuller use of a given amount of experience than other, e.g. reflexive strategies. Yes. Superimposition is part of this idea. So then I'm saying like this is analogous to this. I'm obsessing about the shape of things and how many shapes are similar enough that when I learn about this shape, I can apply it to this shape. Because there's only so many laws of physics, okay? So at some point I'm going to run into the laws of physics. The learning of an internal model is an interesting and challenging AI problem on its own right. And the problem with getting your information from people is they can completely ignore reality. And the emperor has on a beautiful robe instead of butt booty naked. And it's you can't work with that. It will mess you up. Especially when you have other social impairments that are making them not like you. Okay, and a major theme in the field of model-based reinforcement learning. While model learning has far-reaching implications for cognitive neuroscience, it is beyond the scope of this perspective, although, I mean, I need to know about that. In biological organisms, the internal model has been an object of study for decades. In general, it may be used to infer and predict environmental states at many different levels of granularity. Yes, from low-level sensory attributes to high-level objects and scene descriptors. Accordingly, I wouldn't even separate those. Accordingly, several brain areas may be involved in implementing the brain's internal model of the environment, including even primary sensory areas. Yeah, that makes sense. Nevertheless, planning will usually depend primarily on the high-level variables inferred by the internal model. We rarely need to make decisions depending on the activation of specific pixels in our retina. In line, no. In line with this, brain areas specifically associated with representing these higher level variables largely in overlap with those required for planning and take up a sizable fraction of the mammalian brain. Great. Can I use that instead of the sequence shit? The internal model is sometimes equated to the concept of a cognitive map, a representation of one's spatial environment akin to the type of information obtainable from the map. I'm going to save this in a specific area. Hold on. This will be useful to have as a reference for my superimposition thing. Oh man, I'm kind of frustrated though, if I'm not gonna lie. Kind of frustrated. Superimposition. Okay. The internal model is sometimes equated to the concept of cognitive map, a representation of one's spatial environment akin to the type of information obtainable from a map. The encoding as well as learning of such a cognitive map is most commonly attributed to the hippocampus and the surrounding medial temporal lobe. Indeed, in rodents, the hippocampus is casually involved in certain types of planning behavior, and units in the ventral hippocampus, a region which is strongly connected to those supporting reward processing, mediate a form of goal-oriented search in mice. The hippocampus's role in configural learning and spatial learning also points to its involvement in representing internal models. Most prominently, the hippocampus has a critical role in representing one's location in the environment, both spatial and otherwise. In turn, this representation supports memory and guides future action. The hippocampus is also commonly associated with episodic memory. Theoretical work suggests that the episodic memory system can contribute to planning, you bet it is, when one needs to retrieve a contextually appropriate response or previously rewarded action or sequence of actions encoded only once or a few times, or whenever one needs to combine multiple experiences obtained at different times to build a hypothetical scenario. Thank you. Holy shit, that's what I'm trying to do. Yes, 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 yes. So I'm saying that I need to combine multiple experiences obtained at different times to build a hypothetical scenario so that I do not have to pay attention to an environment that I can't calculate. That I have to go into my Walter Mitty universe if I want to achieve goals, because if I don't, I can't filter out this noise. I have to go into a hypothetical and superimpose that on the reality so that I'm not taking in this other information that I can't process. According to these proposals, the hippocampus encodes an episodic type of internal model where, for each state and action, one or more memories of the resulting outcomes are retrieved. Behavioral, and those memories, if they're based on data, if they're based on facts that I believed about the universe that I live in, and I'm looking for facts that agree, I'm going to have a plan. Like, I'm going to have a method that I follow that is repeatable and can be used in multiple scenarios. So then I don't have to worry about calculating the scenario in real time, because I know that probabilistically there's only so many scenarios that are even going to happen, and I can kind of select, okay, this one's basically like this one, so I'm going to run this program. I'm going to run this fantasy world in my head to direct myself around. Behavioral and neuroimaging results support the involvement of the hippocampus in event-based decisions. Human choices are influenced by individual experiences made in similar contexts. Correct. Exactly. An effect accompanied by hippocampal activation and reduced in patients with hippocampal lesions and boosted the F up in some people with autism, I'm going to argue, including me. Besides the hippocampus, prefrontal regions are also thought to encode parts of the internal model. For instance, signals related to expected rewards have been identified in the primate orbital frontal cortex. I know about this, a subregion of the PFC. So this is the sequencing thing. And I think you can bounce back and forth. And I can't. A subregion of the well, if you have a typically developing brain. Activity in OFC neurons is largely determined by an expected outcome, right? You're like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to 5, particularly with the outcome when the outcome is determined by the animal's own choice. Accordingly, lesioning or inactivating OFC impairs behavior relying on the inference of outcomes in rodents. Yep. And non-human primates. Yep. Moreover, the OFC is involved in representing not only rewarding outcomes but also expected future stimuli. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And the task space more generally. Interestingly, anticipatory representations of OFC disappear after hippocampal lesions, suggesting that the OFC receives input from the hippocampus relating to internal models. Interesting. So maybe mine doesn't even talk to it. I don't really know what's going on there. The neighboring, so this is what I think I don't have, is like this anticipatory representations in OFC. The neighboring medial TFC also, and there's two sides of your hippocampus, by the way, so I don't know, one side's maybe bigger, one side maybe, the neighboring pineal also seems to code for the expected reward associated with chosen accidents. Together, the OFC and medial PFC precisely represent the types of information required for planning the state and reward expected to result from a certain action. Note, however, that this does not mean that these are the only regions involved in planning, as the internal model, while critical, is but a single component of the planning process. A brain area not implementing an internal model may still contribute to planning through other processes, such as providing inputs to and evaluating the outputs of the internal model. In summary, I don't know about that part. Wait. Inputs to. Sure. Okay. In summary, an internal model of the environment is the central component of any planning algorithm. I agree with that. However, while all planning algorithms make use of an internal model, each individual algorithm may do so in a different way. Therefore, we propose, and we need a different one for autistic people, or at least myself. Therefore, we propose to use the internal model as an anchor with respect to which we define the dimensions of the space of planning algorithms. In particular, we propose the planning algorithms vary primarily along 3 dimensions: the type of internal model used, the input with which the internal model is interrogated, i.e. which actions or action sequence are evaluated and in which order. And interesting. So what if you can't do that in real time? Wouldn't that be working memory to do that? So wouldn't you have to do that in advance? Or after the fact? You know what I mean? Like you'd have to do that separately. And 3, how the output of the internal model is used to inform future actions, which I think you'd be stuck with if you don't have, like, wouldn't this rely on working memory? You'd think. How the output of the internal model is used to inform future actions. In the following, we expand on these 3 dimensions, reviewing along the way several of the best known planning algorithms in AI, including classical as well as some more recently developed state-of-the-art algorithms, and how they fit in the dimensions as well as how they relate to the relevant neural and behavioral data. I see. Interesting. Mapping the space of planning. Iterative deepening. Okay, yeah, head out. I'm gonna finish off too. I should stop, but yeah. Okay, there's design choice. Oh man, I really want to get through this whole thing. At least I can get through design choice 1, 2, 3, and is there 4? 3. Okay. Okay, it's not that long. Actually, there's just a shit ton of acknowledgments and citations. So that's fine. Okay, let me finish reading this then. All right, let's go. Each example algorithm is mapped out onto the space of algorithms spanned by 3 dimensions. Figure 1D. See also inset at top center. Oh, we're still there. Okay. Determining their main design choices. 1, the type of internal model used, deterministic versus stochastic, purple. Okay, I see. 2, the input with which the internal model is interrogated, uninformed versus informed, orange. Okay. And the way the output of the internal model is used to inform future actions, online versus offline, green. Let me look at this again. I see. Oh, wow. That's interesting how they're building you towards using these colors. Interesting. Okay. I'm just going to grab this and put this over to the side. Okie dokie. I also want to double check stochastic. I've only heard that in a terroristic thing. Property of being well described by random probability. Oh, right. Although stochastic models are distinct from the former versus knowledge versus the latter versus phenomena themselves. Got it. Okay, thank you. Okay, got it. Okay, that makes sense. References, breadth first search, depth first search, iterative deepening, best first search, iterative deepening A, look ahead algorithms, learning real time A, policy iteration, value iteration, DynaQ, prioritize sweeping, trajectory sampling, asynchronous dynamic programming, random rollouts, real time dynamic programming. Interesting. Monte Carlo tree search. Design choice 1, internal model type. Okay, the first major dimension along which... Did this thing stop? I don't know. Okay, maybe not. I don't know. Did it? I think my battery might be running out on my time timer. Okay, the first major dimension along which planning algorithms differ is the type of internal model they use. The simplest types of internal model are those suitable for deterministic environments, allowing the agent to predict with certainty the state of its environment after any sequence of actions. These models are most commonly used in the branch of AI known as classical planning, which describes planning problems involving deterministic action outcomes and a unique known initial state. Classical planning algorithms were common in the early days of AI and are well suited to solving tasks such as route planning in mazes, logical board games, e.g. chess and go, or puzzles, e.g. Rubik's Cube and the Tower of Hanoi. Formally, given an input state and an action, a deterministic model returns the resulting state and reward. If the goal of the agent is to reach a specific state, e.g. a single color on each face of the Rubik's Cube, well, whatever, the model also informs the agent whether that goal is achieved. In such cases, a plan, sometimes also called solution, is a sequence of actions that takes the agent from its current situation to a goal state, and the process finding solution is called search. Okay. Okay. Making a note to goal of reaching specific state. Specific state. and search the process of finding solutions. Okay. Okay. Because deterministic models specify the outcomes of each action with certainty, the planned sequence of actions can be executed with eyes closed without having to consider inputs on the way. Process is also known as open loop control and optimal control. Mm-hmm. Large white or colored circles denote states, and small black circles denote actions. Top parts of both panels show an example isolated action. I see. And the resulting states. Bottom panel shows a simple environment with 3 states and the actions available in each causing transitions between them. Cool. In a deterministic model, outcomes can be predicted with certainty. In particular, one action always leads to the same state. By interrogating such a model with a particular action in a particular state, an agent can predict with certainty the resulting state and reward, or whether a goal is achieved. A stochastic model captures the agent's uncertainty about how the environment responds to his actions. So then, wouldn't that be what happens if you can't evaluate your environment successfully? Due to some sort of, I don't know, a sensory problem or short-term memory problem, or both? Maybe they're the same thing. Model captures the uncertainty, the agent's uncertainty, which wouldn't be resolvable if it's coming from your ability to understand your own environment at all times. By interrogating such a model with a particular action in a particular state, the agent can obtain either a single sample of the resultant outcome or the probabilities with which a set of outcomes might occur. Stochastic internal models often formalize in the framework of Markov decision processes, MDPs. Okay, I gotta look into that apparently. Interesting. Interesting. Okay, we'll get back into that. Okay, are more expressive than deterministic models capturing the agent's uncertainty about the environment and respond to its actions. This uncertainty can arise either due to fundamentally stochastic processes in the environment or due to partial knowledge of the environment. The unknown outcome of a lever referred to as risk and uncertainty respectively in economic decision making. But then what if you can't know because of impairments in memory, when working memory or ability to intake sensory information in your environment because of sensory processing disorders. Thus, stochastic models allow agents to plan in much more general and realistic settings, such as those involving noisy random or unknown physical environments, right? And if we constantly live in a noisy environment, then what do? Formally given an input, state, and action, stochastic models output either a single sample of the resulting outcome, sample models, or the probabilities with which a set of outcomes might occur, distribution models. Okay. In either case, because it is impossible for the agent to know in advance the exact effects of an action, it's no longer possible to rely on open loop control as in classical planning. Therefore, in this setting, it is often not helpful to pre-compute a sequence of actions. There it is. It is often not helpful to pre-compute a sequence of actions. Oh, wow. Right. And they're telling me to pre-compute a sequence of actions to fix my brain in a scenario where that's not going to help. They're like, plan. Oh, wow. This is really good. Huh. Not even not helpful, but wouldn't it just constantly get interrupted as if, well, so many things are weird here. I don't know, chicken egg problem right now, but it's like, well, maybe if you can't do that in the first place, like, okay. I don't know where it's coming from, but like, this makes logical sense, or I'm dumb, which is fine. Maybe I am. Instead, what needs to be computed is the best action at any particular state, a policy, which thus gives the agent more flexibility to choose each future action depending on future yet unknown outcomes, closed loop, and optimal feedback control. Examples of tasks where planning requires a stochastic model and closed loop control are board games involving a chance component, such as dice rolls, route planning with unpredictable traffic, and most other realistic tasks. Interesting. And I would actually choose somewhat, these are very different. This has so many, yeah, there's a lot of, this has more variables than a board game, like by a lot. Naturally, humans and other animals are able to consider stochastic outcomes when planning. Studies on the control of eye and arm movements have provided particularly striking demonstrations of stochastic internal so-called forward models underlying motor planning. Thus, planning in the brain must be closed loop, at least when necessary, an assumption typically incorporated in computational models planning. And like, what if at least when necessary is all the time? Then what does your life look like? Nevertheless, in some tasks with deterministic outcomes, neural data suggests that entire sequences of actions may be planned in advance. I don't think I can do that. Yep. For instance, when monkeys are asked to plan a sequence of actions to achieve a goal, recordings from the lateral PFC during the preparatory phase of the sequential decision task contain information about the entire planned sequence of actions, even when the planned sequence involves mistakes. This suggests that monkeys deploy open loop control at least in some tasks, which could be plausibly implemented by a deterministic model. Given the important consequences of the type of internal model for narrowing the space of possible planning algorithms, it is surprising how little direct evidence there is in favor of either deterministic or stochastic models. Part of this difficulty arises from the fact that the alignment between open versus closed loop and deterministic versus stochastic models is not perfect. For instance, a deterministic model may be used to replan in every time step. What? What's a time step? What? Okay. Similar, what? The fuck is that? Did I miss something? Oh. I see. Huh. Okay, so that's what they mean. All right, got it. For instance, a deterministic model may be used to replan in every time step. Similarly, even if suboptimal, A stochastic model may be used to commit to a sequence of actions and produce open loop behavior, either because a sample model is used or because an action sequence is evaluated at once as a chunk, as we discussed below. I see. Thus, examining only if behavior is open loop or closed loop is not sufficient for inferring the type of internal model used. To obtain the required evidence, one should not only use tasks with stochastic transitions, which can only be faithfully captured by a stochastic internal model, but also particularly tasks in which open and closed loop planning differ in the values they compute and thus the actions they favor. Interesting. This would then allow distinguishing between these two planning strategies, and conversely between types of internal models by measuring the extent to which the actions or values of each is reflected in overt behavior or correlated with neural activity, respectively. This is what I'm interested in. Okay. Woo. In addition to the deterministic versus stochastic distinction, internal models can also vary in terms of the timescale on which their output is expressed. For example, the action of donating to charity can have an immediate negative outcome for one's bank account and a delayed positive outcome for one's level of happiness. However, choosing the right timescale for predictions is non-trivial. The successor representation offers a principled solution to this problem by actually sidestepping the need to commit to one particular timescale, instead providing blended predictions including all timescales, with larger weights given to imminent versus distant outcomes. Such a representation allows multi-step planning tasks to be solved using a single-step algorithm, greatly reducing the computational complexity of planning. Okay, the SR has found some support in behavioral studies with humans interesting, and has been argued to explain distortions in the response of hippocampal place cells that, which could be, there's arguments there already, that arise after extensive experience. Whereas planning with the SR is theoretically simple, replanning can be sometimes challenging because of the fact that predictions of longer horizon outcomes implicitly depend on the agent's previous policy. This inconvenience can be corrected by allowing the previous policy to exert only a weak bias on the inferred action values. Finally, internal models can also vary in terms of how much states are abstracted away from raw observations. Yeah, that's what I want. This is particularly relevant in problems with partial observability. Right. And if I have permanent partial observability because of how I'm perceiving sense data and working memory and all these issues that I'm saying that are messing that up, where states and observations might not coincide. For instance, a planning agent in a video game task can use states expressed directly in terms of a vector of pixel values or expressed in the more abstract terms of the physical parameters of objects. Recent work has proposed that internal models in human planning might use an abstraction that merges microscopic states, i.e. states closer to raw observations, when they have similar future consequences. Interesting. Right, similar future consequences. So maybe I'm mapping out similar future consequences by being obsessed with data, facts. Designed. Okay. The second major way in which order of computation. The second major way in which planning algorithms differ in terms of which actions are evaluated and in what order. Is in terms of which actions are evaluated in what order. That is, once the form of the internal model is determined, one must specify the inputs with which the model is interrogated. Okay. The iterative selection of actions to evaluate amounts to what? Hold on. The iterative selection of actions to evaluate amounts to computing a decision tree from the internal model. What? Okay, that sentence I can't parse that. What? The iterative selection of actions, to evaluate amounts to Okay, I'm not following. That's frustrating. Oh wait, the iterative selection of actions to evaluate amounts to computing, is that what they're saying? The iterative selection of actions to evaluate amounts to computing a decision tree from the internal model. Okay, I think we got there. I was like, a decision tree. Okay, the iterative selection of actions to evaluate amounts to. The iterative selection of actions to evaluate amounts to computing a decision tree from the internal model. A decision tree has an initial state as the root node. Actions represent as branches. And the states reachable from the initial state according to the internal model represent as leaf nodes. Good grief. Okay, great, wonderful. Each leaf node can then be recursively expanded according to a specific... What? Each leaf node can then be recursively expanded, according to a strategy specific to the algorithm. Okay. Sure. Chunking, pruning, okay. Oh boy. Expansion of a decision tree. A, starting from a root node, a decision tree is expanded by iteratively interrogating the internal model to infer the outcomes of any action sequence. For illustration, the expansion of a deterministic internal model is shown. Shaded ovals indicate the action being expanded, and numbers indicate the order of expansion, here representing a breadth-first algorithm. Action, small black circles. Available in each state, large colored circles. Form branches, subtrees. The deepest unexpanded nodes are called leaf nodes. Cool. Different strategies can be used to prioritize the computations involved in expanding the tree. 3 example strategies are shown. See also main text: pruning, whereby unpromising branches of the tree are ignored. Truncation, whereby the tree is only expanded up to the maximum depth, a maximum number of actions in a sequence. Okay. And chunking, whereby multiple actions are clustered into an option. Action state sequence destroyed by shading the background. Blip. Okay. That can be valued as if it were a single action. Got it. Exhaustive planning, evaluating all branches, action sequence of a decision tree. What is going on? Why do I have a whole bunch of emails? I'm worried about this. Okay, I'm fine. All right, let me try to go through this. Exhaustive planning, evaluating all branches, action sequences of the decision tree, is impractical in all but the simplest settings, as it typically requires vast amounts of computational resources. Imagine evaluating all possible outcomes in chess, i.e. all board configurations. And even in settings where that might be possible, it is often important that the inputs to the model, the actions or action sequences to be evaluated, are ordered appropriately so that the best outcome can be achieved with minimal amounts of time and computation. In the decision tree framework, this prioritization is expressed in terms of how the algorithm chooses the root node first and the leaf nodes to be expanded subsequently. Sure. A fundamental distinction along the dimension is that between uninformed and informed algorithms, according to whether or not they make these choices based on estimating how favorable a particular branch of the decision tree is in terms of cumulative rewards or costs. Okay. Right, okay. If the expansion of nodes... Interesting. If the expansion of nodes of the decision tree is not guided by estimates of favorability, planning is uninformed or unfocused and amounts to systematically expanding nodes of the decision tree according to some predetermined schedule or strategy, which I don't think I can do. For example, uninformed algorithms may start from the current state and iteratively expand the shallowest unexpanded node, a strategy known as breadth first search, or alternatively expand the deepest unexpanded node, a strategy known as depth first search. Interesting. Oh, well, maybe I can do that. Hold on. Okay. These algorithms are particularly relevant when the internal model is deterministic, and the task is defined in terms of discrete goal state, winning the game or reaching a goal location. Oh. The setting of classical planning. In such cases, these algorithms are sometimes called the blind search because of the way they behave. These mentions we have... I'm not sure about this. I don't know if I get this yet. Because of the way they behave. The expansion of the tree happens without any knowledge of the goal location. Once the goal state is reached, a solution is identified, and the search process may be halted. In addition to expanding forward from the current state, search algorithms may also expand backwards from the goal state or expand simultaneously. But see, this I'm not sure I can do. Right, okay. One of the most effective approaches in AI is to use the agent's current state as the root node because of its imminent relevance and expand from there only to a limited depth, a strategy known as look ahead. When expansion is truncated in this way, action values are computed by summing the rewards or costs accrued up to the truncated state with the heuristic value of the truncated state, which serves as a stand-in for the reward or cost to be accrued thereafter. See below. In board games such as chess, rather than evaluating entire sequences of actions until the end of the game, an algorithm might evaluate a given action by assessing the predicted state of the game after a few moves, using a static evaluator that counts a different number of pieces on the board as a heuristic, a stand-in for the likelihood of victory. In general, the deeper the look ahead is, the better the corresponding approximations are, but also the slower the planning process becomes. An extreme version of look ahead is to expand a single-step decision tree, i.e. evaluating an action in terms of its immediate outcomes. This strategy is particularly fruitful in stochastic environments where algorithms can improve the agent's policy by expanding a large number of such single-step trees, starting from all possible states, as in dynamic programming, such as value iteration, or from a random sample of states as the dynamic. If exhaustive planning is rarely possible in artificial agents, it ought to be even less likely in biological agents, where the rate of evaluation is thought to be much lower. Indeed, a common observation in behavioral studies of planning is that humans often use look-ahead to prioritize computation when making a decision. Right. So this is already, I'm suspicious that my look ahead is busted. Can I test my look ahead somehow? Common observation in behavioral studies of planning is that humans often use look ahead to prioritize computation when making a decision. The typical depth of expansion in humans found across multiple behavioral studies is approximately 3 to 6 steps. Yet, even within a single task and subject, expansion depth is not a completely fixed algorithmic property, but rather variable according to immediate needs. Subjects trade off expansion depth with the frequency of recomputation. Arbitrating between a shallow look ahead after each action or a deeper look ahead, pre-commitment to a short action sequence every few actions. Ooh. Pointing to the existence of some type of computational budget that can be reallocated based on task demands. In line with this hypothesis, increased time pressure tends to result in a shallower look ahead, pointing to a speed-accuracy trade-off where a deeper expansion leads to more accurate evaluations. Interesting. Interesting. And then time. Increased time pressure. To better prioritize a limited computational budget, informed or focused planning algorithms leverage estimates of the favorability branches for choosing where to expand the decision tree. Okay. These estimates are typically obtained by using a heuristic, a quick and dirty estimate of the distance or cost separating a state from a goal state, or of the cumulative reward expected to follow from a state, and in fact the same value used as a stand-in when truncating the decision tree in look-ahead algorithms. By using a heuristic, informed planning algorithms are able to focus computation on promising states and actions, or conversely prune unpromising parts of the decision tree. The prioritization saves vast amounts of computation. For example, when planning a route between New York and San Diego, heuristics can prevent the evaluation of routes through Montreal that might have been considered by uninformed methods. Indeed, most uninformed algorithms have an uninformed counterpart which can achieve more efficient results by having a heuristic to focus computation. Okay. For instance, the most straightforward heuristic-based algorithm for deterministic environments, best first search, improves upon breadth first search by selecting nodes to expand greedily based on the heuristic value, as opposed to based only on the node depth, as in the breadth first search. An even more effective approach formalized in the highly successful A-star search algorithm is to select nodes based not only on the heuristic value of the candidate node, but also on the cost separating the root and the candidate node. This algorithm, in fact, forms the basis of many contemporary route planning services such as that used in Google Maps. Heuristics are also incredibly useful for focusing computation in stochastic environments. Really? Okay, so then what I'm basically making is a heuristic, like with imagination, kind of. Okay, are also incredibly useful for for focusing computation. Okay. Classic examples of informed algorithms can be deployed with either deterministic or stochastic models are asynchronous dynamic programming, a focused version of conventional dynamic programming, prioritized sweeping, which prioritizes the selection of dyna updates, and Monte Carlo tree search. MCTS, Monte Carlo tree search, is an algorithm commonly used in board games that evaluates actions iteratively by performing multiple simulations of how the future might unfold, called rollouts, and using the results of early rollouts to focus later ones. Perform multiple simulations of how the future may unfold. Rollouts. Okay. And use the results of every rollouts to focus later ones. Indeed, many of the recent AI breakthroughs in board games can be traced back to a clever selection of heuristics to guide the forward simulations in MCTS. Given the high performance and accuracy of informed algorithms in AI, one might expect that biological organisms might use similar strategies when planning. A good example of this is the widespread use of Euclidean distance-based heuristic in animal and human navigation, putatively underpinned by the active maintenance and updating of Euclidean distance to the goal by the hippocampal formation. More generally, behavioral data suggests that humans will use a range of focus strategies whenever possible. For example, humans typically avoid selecting a sequence of actions potentially leading to a transient large loss, even when considering the full set of future outcomes that could lead to a larger gain. See, and then I'm saying, like, if this whole region of your brain creates a loss because there's something going wrong, or creates a fear state, then you'd avoid it. Anyway, this suggests the subjects prune entire branches of the tree during planning. Interestingly, when the full tree is presented visually along with the associated rewards, subjects do not seem to prune but take into account the entire set of prospective possibilities. Suggesting that subjects only prune when internal evaluation is needed. Another evidence for the flexible adjustment of algorithmic features. Notice that pruning and truncation are not mutually exclusive strategies, with the former reducing the width and the latter reducing the depth of the decision tree that needs to be considered. Another way to alleviate the computational burden of planning by well-chosen inputs is to combine a sequence of actions into units, sometimes called options, that can then be evaluated as an individual modal input. In AI, options have played a key role in speeding up reinforcement learning and planning, becoming one of the key research areas for developing autonomous agents. The challenge, of course, is to define such options in a way that proves useful. In humans, options also appear to play a key role in planning. In particular, actions that have consistently followed from one another are chunked as a unit that can be later evaluated independently, a mechanism that has been hypothesized to give rise to habits. For example, a detailed analysis of reaction time data using a computational model of evidence integration revealed that indeed sequences of two actions rather than individual actions were treated as independent units to be evaluated. Once a series of actions have been combined into a chunk, their computated values can be stored and later reused, a strategy known as memoization. Memoization? In humans, these various algorithmic motifs, look ahead, pruning, chunking, all seem to play a role in reducing the computational cost of planning by prioritizing the inputs to the model in humans. However, the results above also highlight an intrinsic difficulty in discovering the specific planning algorithms used by biological agents. Sometimes multiple algorithms with very different inner workings predict similar, if not identical, behavioral responses. Yes. Additionally, sometimes one strategy may masquerade as another. Yes. E.g., best first search may indirectly implement pruning, since expanding greedily generally amounts to not expanding past beyond a large loss. Right. To overcome this limitation, rather than focusing only on the output behavior, the end result of the algorithm, one can attempt to observe the algorithm at work by directly recording neural activity associated with its latent variables. That's what I'm really, really, really interested in. Okay. Huh. Fascinating. I agree with what they're saying. Should be researched. Huh. Cool. I'm going to read that later. As an example, direct neural recordings have allowed us to resolve an important distinction in this dimension, whether different branches of the decision tree are evaluated serially or in parallel. The distinction is less relevant for AI because, in general, the specification of most AI algorithms requires serializing the evaluations of sequences of steps in computer code, though parallelization might be possible. Biological organisms, however, the distinction is important to consider as it constrains the type of circuits capable of implementing planning. Okay. But neural interesting, many assume that multiple options can be evaluated in parallel. Huh. In task multi. Huh. Interesting. Okay. I'm gonna head out. Incorporation of outputs. Aiming in their future behavior. I'm just reading really fast. Hold on. VT was found to be happening. Yep, here we go. This is what I think is broken. While place cells typically respond when the animal is in a specific location in the environment, the place field of the cell during VTE, which is vicarious trial and error, but also during freezing and fear and active movement. These cells fire in sequence of coding a short trajectory connecting the animal's previous location, its current location, and a few future locations. Freezing and fear. Notably, at decision points, two alternate paths, data sequences encode the alternate paths in constant alternation at approximately 8 Hertz. This raises the intriguing possibility that this likely might underlie the evaluation of different candidate paths as in a look-ahead, like online planning algorithm. So what if that's broken? Hang on, I'm just looking at this. Background planning. Such as I never. Right. You have to keep updating them. Yep. You have to keep updating them. So you have to keep updating them. So if you do background planning, which is I think what I do, you have to keep updating your pool of knowledge. Background planning. Which would make you, like background planning would be episodic, right? And then this is all declarative. But the reestablishing the validity would be data based. So it would be semantic. Okay, I'm gonna have to go to my appointment for being autistic and stuff. Offline planning mechanism. Okay, I'm not gonna finish this. Okay, I'm gonna have to read this later. Oh well. Okay. Off I go. Thanks for coming, anybody who sat around and read this with me. Okay, bye!